Hi, I'm Sabrina Whitehorse, and you are watching Taken TV. We are here in Palm Beach, meeting amazing people, interviewing incredible people that are actually making a difference, warriors of truth. And today I'm honored to have what I might consider a dear friend, Dr. Judy. And she has really stepped out and done a courageous journey. Let's put it that way. Dr. Judy, thank you so much for being with me again. It's so nice to have you.
It's beautiful to be here
Always.
in West Palm Beach. It's sunnier than when we saw each other in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I know. And we keep on running into each other over the years. And so I really feel it's God's way of bringing the chosen people together.
Right.
Not because you're any more special than anybody else, but God has warriors. And I believe that you are a chosen warrior. The work that you've been doing, can you share a little bit with our audience about some of the work that you've been doing and exposing the truth?
Well, yeah, because we are each chosen for, and our people are the Cherokees,
Yes.
Cherokee Indians. So we're the sons of Issachar, and we saw what had already happened. So my job is to sound the horn. My mom used to say, Judy Ann, you have a mouth, use it. But she also used to try to find a way, and this is what we're here at this conference doing. We have to find a way to speak the truth in love. So I'm, a scientist. I'm a biochemist and a molecular biologist, but it's not my truth. It's the truth.
That's right.
And somehow we've been told, that science is medicine. No, it's not. And medicine isn't an inexact science. It's not. And now we're supposed to trust the science. And I
Right.
think his name was Fauci. And so what I've been doing is try to tell people it's a cult. It's a cult. It's a pharma cult. It's a
Money.
nutraceutical cult. It's a cult called scientism, exactly. So we poisoned everybody. We injured them with things called vaccinations, which have nothing to do with immunity and never have. The only immunity that was given was to anybody who called themselves a vaccine, a manufacturer of vaccine, or a doctor who poisoned a child or anybody else unknowingly. So we've got a language problem, and we've got to learn how to speak the truth in love and stop saying stupid things that we know nothing about. You taught everybody PCR, and everybody somehow decided a test was PCR. We don't know what PCR means. So we're just talking trash, really.
Isn't the inventor of PCR, he's no longer with us in the flesh, right?
No, Carrie Mullis, I believe, passed away in 2018. Carrie Mullis
Admitted.
wrote a book. Well, what he did was he wrote a book called Dancing Naked in the Mind Field, but polymerase chain reaction was a brilliant discovery, and that book tells you about that discovery and how he thinks, and basically what the problem is discovery of natural biology and using that biology and technology according to a genius mind. And in order to try to solve a particular problem, well, amplifying very specific sequences in a sea of DNA. I mean, where our DNA is wrapped around nucleosomes, so it's all packaged into every cell, miles and miles and miles of DNA. It's not unwound. It's not a ladder and a rope and somehow we can make one base pair change because we've got an enzyme called CRISPR. No, God gave us an integrase and a pair of scissors, and we can repair that DNA. Oh, one of those genes might be called BRCA1. No, God didn't make breast cancer one gene. There's no such thing as an oncogene, cancer-causing gene. No, God gave us repair pathways. God gave us machinery to repair. And at the heart of that is a woman's X chromosome. Every human being has an X chromosome. That's the orchestration of your genome, not one other human being's genome, just you. What do you express? When do you express it? According to your environment. It's called epigenetics. On top of the genes. That's our protection. God gave us human endogenous in your genes, endogenes, endogenous retroviruses. Oh, that might be my own protection of any. The word virus means poison. Any poison. Oh, even environmental poisons that might get my identical twin because she lives in a different environment. Does she have the basic genetics? Yep. But she expresses it differently because she's been in a different environment since the day we were born. And so this is the self, non-self. That's it for your immune system. What's me and what's not. The word virus means poison.
Why do you think that they're trying so hard to change our DNA?
That because they can't. So you see, they're trying so hard to convince us to poison ourselves. They're not changing our DNA. They're lying to us in order to get us afraid so that we do something stupid and kill ourselves. And how many million Americans either injected themselves with snake venom peptides? There's no such thing as a spike protein. So a whole bunch of morons, and do look up the word. I know you know it, but I'm telling your audience to look up the word, is because you're hard-hearted. We're at a believers conference. You either believe God gave you everything you need for food and happiness, or you don't, and you're going to inject your newborn the first day of life.
Right.
Or maybe you believe that somehow you can have a baby, and when they're magically 6 weeks old, you could go right back to going to your job.
Right,
You
and
could throw
abandon
them
your
in-
child.
And
That's
abandon
right.
your child and inject your child because somehow that was okay.
Right.
And somehow you're holier than thou. Or me, because when I decided to go get a PhD, I had a benefit because I could work on a deadly field of virology, the poisonous retroviruses, the most deadly because they do reverse transcribe. They write backwards DNA into RNA and then double strand that and insert it in, cut open your DNA and put it in there. Ooh, I don't want any part of that. But we all are doing it, but your God repairs. BRCA1 is one chain of a large complex that is that is a repair pathway. BRCA2, BRCA3, they're the different chains of the pathway for radiation poisoning. Has nothing to do. Oh, and yet we injure women with radiation therapy, especially those that have a BRCA1 gene or an MTHFR. I guarantee you God didn't make that either. It's called methyl tetrahydrofolate reductase. But we all started getting smarter than our smarty pants. You know, my mom, oh, you know so much. My husband was a personnel director. He said, I love the 25-year-olds. They know it all. I don't have to do anything. Hire them, let them go. They know it all. And sooner or later, they'll mess it all up and lose their job. So, how do you train a child? We're at a believers conference. You hand them the word, you teach it to them, and you show them. I pray with my feet. I rarely say a word, and my mom prayed with her feet as well. That her Cherokee name was Fur, Furr, and when you saw the fur fly or the fur fit, get out of the way because you're in trouble. Because mom's going to take care.
Oh yeah, don't mess with a native mama.
Yeah.
She'll get you real good. That's for sure.
So we're here to learn a new language. A language which we should have known, but we didn't.
Right.
And so we're angry, and we're angry at ourselves. We're angry at ourselves, and we know it. So hopefully we will begin to honor 2 Chronicles 7:14 and humble ourselves and repent and pray for forgiveness and then God will heal our land. He didn't say your body, but when it's you, one individual, what is your land? The terrain. People ask me all the time, well, Judy, is it the terrain or the virus?
Have you ever been to the content?
Or the germ? The word germ doesn't mean virus. Which poison? You know, which poison? You mean when you put that sunscreen on your child and you didn't give them the vitamin D your God made you during the summer so that when the winter comes you'll have a store? You will have a store. Calcium, magnesium, vitamin D, vitamin K, they're all right there. A, D, K, and E.
Vital things that we all need.
Soluble vita. Vitamin.
Yes.
Vitamin is life. And an amine. Oh, that would be an amino acid that makes up the peptides and the protein of all of life. Whether it's a cow, whether it's a pig, whether it's a plant. We genetically modified everything, and somehow we think that's good.
Right.
And now we're living the poisoning of our society.
Right.
And the problem is, and this is the real big thing that I struggle with my pastor, Rob McCoy, all the time, is he tries to explain it to me. See, the problem is, who is responsible for taking care of the widows and the infirm, the sick who cannot work, and the orphans? Well, that would be the church, not the government. So when we wrote the foreword of our first book by Hillary Johnson, I didn't write it, she did. In fact, I could not change a word of it. And in the beginning, that's the contract I signed. I only sign what I will do, a contract. And I said, I will not, she said, it costs $10 a word. You trust me to write it? I said, yes. You know the history. Write it. She can transcribe. She's not transcribing to me. That was my testimony. That's what Kent did. Transcribe my words, but he also translated them. He's a 6th grade science teacher, so that somebody would understand them, because our scientists haven't been taught anything. So words matter.
Oh, absolutely.
And letters matter, but we've been trained differently. My mom said, Judy Ann, you have a mouth, use it. And I didn't know how, because I didn't know how to speak. And this is what Rob McCoy is trying to teach me, because, and President Trump, he's got, Franklin Graham, because it's this.
Yes.
Because I get mad and I swear as if somehow I'm morally superior, and I'm not. We're all a train wreck. I know the difference between self and non-self, and I know what my mother taught me. We don't even know the truth behind what the Trail of Tears actually is. Oh, they took away the guns. They convinced the fathers to give up their guns and their weapons, and then they shot them all in front of the children and their families. But that's not why they cry. But they end up, President Andrew Jackson, right? Andrew Jackson, there was a little Supreme Court decision that he knew nobody could obey, that we wouldn't have the money, that we wouldn't have the courage, that we wouldn't have the mental fortitude, that we'd cave under. And that's exactly what the tribal leaders did right then and there. We, the people, need to tell our tribal leaders, no, you're missing something. We are the sons of Issachar. We see what had already happened. I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, but that's not going to let anybody hear me. And that's what Pastor Rob always said. Judy, they can't hear you. You don't speak the same language. So now we all have to take a step back, love our neighbors enough to have that conversation. And it's not easy, as we heard James Lindsay just saying a minute ago. And he's not a Christian, because he's saying, you don't know your own Bible. You don't know how to teach your children because you didn't teach your grandchildren. So right now it's up to us.
It is up to us, and time is ticking very quickly in the flesh, and so we have to have a voice. We have to be warriors of truth, and that's really one of the reasons why we wanted to have you on Taken TV. I've interviewed you many a times before, And I know that the walk that you have is a tough one.
But
But
we
you
have
don't
tough
care.
mothers.
And so you are
I,
just, you're plowing forward, and you're extremely humble, and I'm honored to speak with you. And I hear you speak. I interview people all the time, and I hear you speak, and you're just so well versed in what it is that you speak of. And you're so well versed that many people don't understand you. Okay, and so I just feel like there's our path and our walk together is not finished.
no.
I think that I was just speaking with somebody about possibly doing a movie about the native plight, and I would somehow love to be able to continue our conversations to see how we can help the noble people that have no voice right now.
Right.
All right.
Well, and I'd love to. I just, we were traveling last year just before Nikki Willis, the last time we saw you at the Great Awakening back in Austin on June 3rd of last year. And, we went in to buy water at the Indian reservation in somewhere in Oklahoma. We were just driving there, and they wouldn't let us buy the water unless we put a mask on. And I had to leave because I'm like, what happened to you?
Right. There's a great ignorance that's happening, and I feel that like you're going to be able to help awaken. So on another topic, I would love to continue this conversation with you because I think it's so powerful. So I just want to say thank you for your time. And again, I hope you understand why it was so important for us to have her on this program, Warrior of Truth. Walking, she's absolutely brilliant in so many different arenas, speaking out. And again, I'm short of words, which doesn't normally happen. But thank you so much. I'm honored, and I'm very blessed to have you here.
Thank you, Sabrina. Well,
how can people find you?
Well, the easiest way is therealdrjudy.com. Therealdrjudy.com. Every word we try to teach. My product is education. I'm working so hard to speak the truth in love, but sometimes that love has to kind of wake you up a little bit because these are hard truths, and we have to forgive ourselves.
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you so much once again. You're watching Taken TV, and I'm your host, Sabrina Whitehorse. Until next time, in Palm Beach. Bye-bye.